Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'll shut up. The Batman. I was absolutely, impossibly, unbelievably excited for this movie, okay? Matt Reeves can direct. The dude can make a movie about talking monkeys work, and this dude nailed this movie. The cinematographer Greg Fraser worked on Dune, Zero Dark 30, he nails everything he works on, giving things a real yet larger-than-life quality, and fully understands how important lighting is when working on VFX-riddled movies. With them and a ridiculously talented cast, the phenomenal music by Michael Giacchino, and many more incredibly hardworking people, The Batman soars into becoming one of the best Batman movies ever made. I walked out of the theater going, man, this is both the most pure superhero movie I've seen in a long time, but at the same time, one of the most wildly different, subversive, and unique. The people that were saying this feels like Batman meets Seven or Zodiac were absolutely right. So much of this movie is about confronting character flaws, but these moments are never written as moments where the audience can stop and breathe. Not really, the character development goes hand in hand with the roller coaster of a plot. Pattinson is in the Batsuit for literally 90% of the movie. The dude never takes it off, and this not only indicates how important the conflict is in the story, that Bruce Wayne just always has to be Batman, but it also indicates how this Bruce Wayne is fully focused on being Batman. This is his second year as the masked vigilante. This is when he's at his most angry. This is not year one where he's focused and mad at the world and ready to fight against corruption. This is year two. A whole year has passed since he started and he hasn't really seen much progress. In fact, the city's gotten worse. It's Batman already at a low point right from the get-go. He's an angry man, still not over the death of his parents, unable to fully process his grief without staining his knuckles with the blood of criminals on the streets. I am the shadows, he says. Bruce believes himself to be fear incarnate, vengeance incarnate, and that fear is enough to stop the criminal element of Gotham City. But it's not. And how the movie adapts the iconic Batman line, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman, as not only powerful, but also terribly sad, makes this one of the rawest and most honest Batman films of all time. But before we get more into it, let's talk about today's sponsor. Alright, imagine. You have high interest loans, you have credit card debt. That would suck. And that's a reality for a lot of people. Thankfully, Upstart exists, and through Upstart you can pay off your existing debt quickly with a personal loan so you can be financially healthy. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 as well. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/browntable or click the link in the description below. That's upstart.com/browntable. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Thanks so much, Upstart, for sponsoring today's video. I've read snippets of reviews for this movie online saying that it's too dark, not funny enough, and that's kind of weird to me when that's kind of the point of the movie. I don't understand how it's the movie's fault for being released at a time when the world is in a dark place, but whatever. That being said, this Batman is meant to be dark, it's meant to be grungy. The movie The Batman is really just dirty. It rains constantly, it's almost always set at night. Gotham has never looked more disgusting to really give that vibe of a crime-littered city that cannot be saved. Further pushing the idea that Batman's mission is pointless. Gotham can't be saved, so it feels like an uphill battle. And this movie is all about vengeance. Yeah, right from the get-go, Bruce narrates another night in Gotham. Dude is straight up an edgy boy with a diary, and I love it, and you come to understand why being Batman is so important to him. What his mission is, what he wants to accomplish. He wants to save Gotham, and he does so by making criminals shit their pants. But here's the kicker, it's not working. He says it constantly throughout the movie. In the story, Alfred treats Bruce warmly, but they still have a distance, if that makes sense. He does his best to aid him on his mission, but Alfred genuinely feels like the humanity Bruce once had has been stripped from him in his quest to stop crime. Bruce is just awkward. He's weird. He doesn't know how to act like a person, if that makes sense. For example, Christian Bale's Batman was a version where he needed to isolate himself for a time to understand what he needs to do, what he needs to become, but he never felt alien. Pattinson's Bruce, Pattinson's Batman, feels alien. The dude is desperate for some kind of relationship that's beyond beating people's faces in, but he doesn't allow himself to open up. Not really. He appreciates Alfred, but he can't really tell him. He appreciates Gordon, but he can't really tell him. He starts to fall in love with Selina, but he can't really tell her. Bruce isn't afraid of dying. In fact, he doesn't mind it. But he is afraid of losing people he cares about, and that's the crux of Reeves' take on Batman. He is still haunted by the fact that he can lose people. He's scared of caring and becoming the Batman removes that from the equation. He is an avatar for what criminals should be afraid of. He's no longer human. To prevent caring, he secludes himself, pours all of himself into his work because being human isn't necessary to him, and it also terrifies him. He can't really operate as a caring person anymore. That would leave him vulnerable, open, and he wouldn't be able to prevent what happened to him at a young age from happening to others. His connection to Falcone perfectly illustrates this. Discovering his parents weren't perfect, weren't these upstanding citizens he always thought they were, and learning that Alfred hid this information from him hurts him deeply. Twice in the movie, both as Bruce and Batman, he just looks on at the son of one of Riddler's victims, now orphaned like he was. The dude is still traumatized. He can see himself there, just like that child, frightened and alone. It's the true reason for why Bruce fights, but he's fueled by such negative emotions that he doesn't realize that yet. And he combats his trauma by becoming vengeance. But he isn't the only character in the movie that is solely driven by this. Both Selina and the Riddler are motivated by revenge. Selina wants revenge on Falcone, willing to kill him. Meanwhile, the Riddler wants revenge on Gotham and its corrupt system that failed him as a child. I've said this word like 100 times now, but that's what the movie is about. Vengeance. It's about how you utilize the pain of your past. And it all converges at the end of the movie. The Riddler is the perfect antagonist for Batman here because both of them have been molded into what they are by the city they grew up in. Both are motivated by vengeance. The Riddler tells Batman that he's taken what he's learned from the Batman to exact his own form of vengeance, which basically means Bruce has also harmed the city while attempting to save it. Bruce has influenced the city, but definitely in ways he didn't expect, and that's the main dilemma in this movie. It isn't just, oh, the Riddler is evil and must be stopped, It's a Batman movie where Batman is 1000% the main character, but the one that needs to be defeated as well. It's not just man versus man, the story is a man versus self story. The final Riddler goon Batman defeats, I'm pretty sure is the same guy that Bruce encounters at the memorial service earlier in the movie, and it shows how all these horrible people, while having different intentions, are motivated by similar things. Batman's quest to become vengeance has led to those not as strong-willed as him to appropriate those words and skew them to exact their own form of revenge on those that wronged them. And so, by the end of the film, we reach a Batman that's not just a myth, he isn't some sort of monster, he's a hero. The film concludes with Batman not just being this figure in the shadows. His goal isn't to beat up criminals, his goal is to help the innocent, the weak. It ends with a humanized Batman. It's a Batman stepping out of the shadows and being the light. It ends with one of the most iconic moments in Batman filmography. It probably has the perfect Batman ending. Batman carrying a wounded woman to safety and her gripping onto his arm, scared only for him to hold her hand so she understands it's okay and letting it go so she can be taken to safety. That's peak Batman. That's what Batman is. That's what Batman has always been. Not just vengeance, not just justice. Batman is hope. Hope for Gotham. And even though the movie ends with a Gotham in a worse off state than it was at the beginning, for the first time, it feels like everything's gonna be alright. I still have to sit on the movie, find out if it's my favorite Batman movie ever made. I think it was such a journey and so much happened. I need to watch it again to fully gather my thoughts on it, but I wanted to talk about the movie's message and theme, because that's something I truly understood and fully appreciated about it. I love how this movie feels very Batman. No wonder that's what the movie's called. Is it my favorite Batman movie? Maybe. There's so much to appreciate from previous Batman incarnations that weren't present in this film, just like how some elements in this film weren't present in previous Batman movies. So once the Batman comes out on Blu-ray, I feel like I'll know where it stands. How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for watching the video. Make sure to check out Interstellar Ranger Commence on April 2nd, 2022. This banger's coming out very, very soon, so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much, Jeremy, for the Hope Griffin fan art. It looks awesome. She looks absolutely dope. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, patrons, for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. It helps a lot. And of course, if you want to join the Chad Nation, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And then you'll officially be a Chad. If you become a Chad, you will literally become Batman, with all the fancy gadgets, strength, and depression. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the video, and I hope you come back to the table.